What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of Mini Football Logic. It's Zeno here. And just like I promised, we're back with the other semi-final reaction. AC Milan versus Inter Milan. As we know, both legs are going to be played at the same stadium, so is it really a home and away leg here for either team? Probably, because obviously the fan allocation for the seats and stuff is different. So of course there was more AC Milan fans for this first leg. Although if you watch how AC Milan played, it didn't look like it. In the first 15, 20 minutes, it was a whole disaster. The first half was absolutely terrible. Inter Milan completely dominated things. And pretty much the game itself was done after 15, 20 minutes. 8 minutes in, Dzeko, it was a very sharp goal. I can't lie to you. He had his leg around Calabria, managed to volley it into the top corner. Clinical, 37 years old, still doing it. You can't hate. Giroud would be proud of that kind of volley. I can't lie to you. Watching from the other end. Nonetheless, Mkhitaryan made it 2-3 minutes later with a really well-worked goal. Lautaro leaving it through for him, and he just slotted it home. And even though AC Milan did play better, Tonali being a standout, it's clear to see that unfortunately there was too much to make up, and they were severely missing their star man Rafael Leao, who of course came off of an injury in their Serie A game this weekend. So unfortunately they're going to be playing without their best player, but hopefully he will be returning for the second leg to try and salvage this for the Rossoneri. Nonetheless, looking at the actual game and the performance itself for Inter Milan, the first half is pretty much where all the damage was done. They could have been 3-0 up after Lautaro got taken down by Simon Kjaer, but VAR overturned that because, of course, his hand being on his waist-hip area wasn't enough contact for him to go down. You can tell he took a dive after feeling that contact and trying to make the most of it. Of course, it's quite interesting to see how the people at BT Sport thought it was a penalty, but the people at CBS Sports, if you guys don't know that, Micah, Henry, and Carragher, I'm sure you guys know that already. If you don't know, then rah. Anyways, those guys thought it was a penalty. Those guys thought it wasn't a penalty. And I'm probably on the side of the CBS guys. It's probably not a penalty. Of course, there's contact there, and that's why you think, okay, it must be a penalty because of contact. It's all within the eye of the beholder. Unfortunately, as we know, referees don't have that consistency, but it's more so consistent in Europe anyway. So it's not a penalty, but there was contact. But we have to understand that just because there was contact doesn't mean it's a penalty. And that's how people like the Taro be trying to take advantage of these things by, honestly thinking, okay, yeah, I got contact here, so I'm going to go down and I should get the penalty because there was contact. But that's not how it works. All right? It's not. Now, with AC Milan's poor performance, they got it all to do in the second leg. Of course, watching the game, it didn't look like a team in fourth against a team in fifth in Serie A. You would have thought it would have been a much more closer game between the two sides, but Inter Milan showed the quality and the difference. Of course, if you actually look at who's really the best out of the two teams, you would say that Inter Milan probably have the better team with the better high-quality players. Despite the fact that AC Milan won the Scudetto last season over Inter, interestingly enough. Obviously, Napoli now are the kings of Italy, but even so, as we saw, Napoli got knocked out by one of these two teams. So I'm forgetting which team it is in this moment in time. I believe it was AC Milan that knocked out Napoli. Yeah, it was AC Milan that knocked out Napoli. So in the stage of knockout football, you cannot really tell. Obviously, like I always say, the teams with the more heritage and history tend to do a lot better against the teams that are kind of new to the scene and achieving things for the first time. And obviously, even though a lot of people wanted Napoli to make it far, I had a feeling that they wouldn't because naturally they're not used to being in these scenarios and situations, and they will learn with time and experience, just like Man City are learning. Nonetheless, back to the actual game itself. For the second leg, AC Milan have it all to do, but of course, life is going to be a lot easier if they have Leao back in their arms and back in that lineup ready to inflict damage. When you looked at the AC Milan team, there was no one really there to really get the ball to Giroud. The Theo Hernandez, he struggled. Origi came on, tried to make a difference, but he was on the peripheral pretty much. Giroud, like I said, didn't get any service. Brahim tried his hardest, but again, he was basically invisible. Didn't have much impact on the game. Of course, the second half, a lot of them played a lot better, but by then the game was already done. But of course, as we know in Europe, if you play the second leg and AC Milan score early in the same stadium, it's all to play for once again. So we'll have to just wait and see where the second leg brings us. But this was a very comfortable victory for Inter Milan. And they are in the driver's seat. But I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Mini Laje.